tell you all their plans. Welcome on board Game Plan 2022. My name is Eric Munene. But first, before we take a look at the stories making headlines, let's have a look at what made it to the highlights. Tonight, Nelson cannot have it all. LSK boss Nelson Harvey ousted from the society after a caretaker committee took over operations. Also tonight, President Kenyatta meets Azimio la Umoja allied MPs at State House, Nairobi. The president urging senators to pass the contentious political parties amendment bill. Plus, CBC implementation hurdles. The government says it is committed to ensuring smooth implementation of CBC.
The government is extremely serious about this classroom, so the global picture of having 5,400 of them ready by the end of March is going to be realized ahead of time.
And George Natembeya appointed to the office of the president a day after his resignation to focus on politics. Anwe Remo is our sign language interpreter for this program. And of course, I have to mention that later on in the bulletin, I'll be joined by the immediate former Rift Valley Regional Coordinator, George Natembeya, who will be telling us about his plans for the people of Trans Nzoia County. We begin. President Uhuru Kenyatta has lauded members of parliament for passing the contentious political parties amendment bill of 2021, urging the Senate to follow suit after public participation next week. Kenyatta spoke during a luncheon which brought together MPs from Oka in what was seen as a move to solidify the unity ahead of the August general elections. Our reporter Liz Mutuko kicks this bulletin for us tonight.
One after the other, MPs from different political divides walked into State House, Nairobi for a luncheon by President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Uhuru Kenyatta lauded them for passing the political parties bill, paving way for coalitions ahead of August polls.
You left your families, came out in huge numbers to pass a couple of pieces of legislation that are going to be a game changer. The passage of the anti-money laundering bill, for example, will ensure that we are able to continue being part of the international financial system and to have a respected banking system that can only help improve and mature our economy.
The head of state took a swipe at his deputy for trying to shoot down the bill, saying those who made such attempts have no interest of the nation at heart. Uhuru urging the Senate to expedite the process to allow the implementation of the bill ahead of the next general election.
And the political parties amendment that we are trying to push through, which some people have tried to demonize as they try to demonize BBI, that is giving us an opportunity for us to be able to formally work together across political parties in the interest of the nation. Because this is what we are trying to achieve. As we sit here today, yes, I am a proud member of Jubilee, but I am an even prouder member of the Kenyan society, which I see reflected around these tables here.
One Kenya Alliance MPs were also in attendance in what was seen as solidifying the political base for Azimio la Umoja coalition after the passing of the bill. ODM boss Raila Odinga insisting on the importance of constitutional changes for the sake of the nation.
And you've got several amendments which they all the times quote to you: Amendment 5, 5th Amendment, 6th Amendment, and so on and so forth. So that's really, it's not a crime for somebody to see something is wrong in our constitution or in our law that we need to change, because it only makes things better. They say that a good idea always yields to a better idea, and a better idea would yield to the best idea. So what you guys are doing is basically trying to improve governance in our country.
This is the first meeting for President Uhuru Kenyatta to meet MPs, urging them to continue supporting the handshake for the stability of the nation. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47, Nairobi.
Nelson Havi has been bundled out of office as the president of the Law Society of Kenya, and now a caretaker committee has taken over the management of the society until an election is held. Joash Onsare reports.
The Law Society of Kenya branch chair's caucus have appointed Linda Kiome to serve as the society's president until the next election. This is after the members alleged that Nelson Havi has failed to lead the lawyers' body. The new spokesperson assumed office on 11th of this month.
Effectively, Ms. Linda Kiome, myself, shall be the spokesman of the Law Society of Kenya, and I shall exercise the powers of the President of the Law Society of Kenya for the remainder of the term of the Council. Now, the branch chair's caucus took over the leadership of the Law Society of Kenya with effect from 11th of January 2022.
Addressing the media in Nairobi, the chair's caucus, led by newly appointed President Linda Kiome, argued that Justice Mrima had ordered the then president of LSK, Nelson Havi, to conduct an annual general meeting to solve the issues affecting the body before the lapse of the 21 days, but failed.
We are comfortable, we are here, we came here, we have not been opposed by anyone. We have gone to the boardroom, we have conducted our meeting in peace, and we believe it is for the betterment of our society. We are ready to unite the society, and we shall do that which the judgment has allowed us to do.
LSK has been having leadership wrangles for long, with one section siding with LSK CEO Mercy Wambua and the other with Nelson Havi, with the new leadership promising to deliver the society's mandate to lawyers.
Some of the urgent items that formed part of our agenda today include the impending LSK elections, the special general meeting, and the effective service delivery to the members.
Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Deputy President William Ruto has promised to ensure that every Kenyan has a medical cover within 100 days into office as he took his Hustler campaign to Kajiado County on Thursday. The DP, who was on ODM boss Raila Odinga's traditional stronghold, called on residents to back the right horse in the race for State House and base their decision on the ballot on each candidate's track record. David Mudhoka reports.
UDA! Nikisema UDA, tunasema kazi ni kazi. UDA!
Mbulbul, Gataka and Ongatarongai areas in Kajiado County were the target for Deputy President William Ruto's charm offensive on Thursday as his campaign in Nairobi and Kajiado entered day 2. In ODM boss Raila Odinga's perceived stronghold, the second in command seized the moment to popularize his State House bid to the Kajiado electorate with 8 months left to the August 9 polls.
Nikasikia ati bwana Kitendawili amekuja hapa kulalamika. Ati kusema ati huyu William Ruto anatoa wapi milioni 2 ya kupatia bodaboda. Ati Ruto ametoa wapi milioni 2 ya kupatia mama mboga. Mimi nataka nimwambie bwana Kitendawili, wacha kulalamika milioni 2. Wacha kulalamika sijui milioni 1, milioni 2. Hiyo ni pesa kidogo. Mwaka huu tunaweka bilioni 50 kwa biashara ya hawa watu wadogo hawa.
Seeking to win over residents, the Deputy President promised to construct a 5-story market at the cosmopolitan Ongatarongai town, on top of another promise to Kenyans that will see each person get a medical cover within his first 100 days in office.
Na hiyo ni ahadi Uhuru Kenyatta na mimi tulipatia wa Kenya under the Universal Health Coverage Pillar. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Nasema before the end of this year, kila mmoja wetu ataenda hospitalini, atatibiwa na ataenda nyumbani bila ya kuulizwa pesa yoyote.
This as he appealed to residents to pick the right horse ahead of the polls, terming the race for State House as one pitting servant leaders and state projects.
Kama mtu amepata nafasi ya kuwa prime minister, hakuna chochote amefanya, ni tibim kitendawili ria. Saa hii miaka ndio hiyo karibu inafika 80. Sasa mtafikiri mtu akifikisha 80 years ndio ataanza kujua kupanga? Tukubaliane bwana.
Just like Bomet, where his close allies are eyeing the governorship, signs of Kajiado further placing the DP in a tight corner played out in his series of campaigns on Thursday, where legislators Kato Olemetito, Peristo Biko and the Hustler Women Brigade Secretary General Dr. Rachel Gitonga are all seeking the Kajiado gubernatorial seat.
Kaunti ya Kajiado imesahau kazi yake. Watu hawana maji, watu hawana soko. Na mimi nasema hivi, tumekubali hatupangwingwi.
Ninaomba kwa heshima na kwa unyenyekevu mshike mkono Katole Metito kwa kura ya ugavana mwezi wa 8.
Na president ni Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Chama ni UDA.
Ruto's allies on his trail further drummed up support for the Hustler camp while taking a swipe at rival Azimio la Umoja movement for depending on endorsements instead of going out for actual vote hunts.
Wale wa kupangwa, ati wale wa nini? Wale wa kupangwa nao saa hii tukiwa hapa Gataka, tukiwa hapa Kajiado, nao saa hii wako State House wakipangwa. Mumeamua chama ni UDA. MCA chama ni gani? MCA chama ni gani? MP chama ni gani? Senator, Governor, na Rais J. Rais J.
The hunt for votes by Deputy President William Ruto continues, even as the battle for numbers between him and his main rival ODM boss Raila Odinga picks up the pace 8 months to the August 9 polls. David Mudhoka, TV47 at Ongata-Rongai, Kajiado County.
Well, thank you, David Mudhoka, for that. We stay with politics. Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has condemned the demolitions in Mukuru kwa Njenga informal settlement, terming them as inhumane and senseless. Kalonzo says that the demolitions that have left thousands homeless are against the residents' constitutional right, and the government should move in and quickly compensate them. Have a look.
The Wiper leader early Thursday morning visited victims of the Mukuru kwa Njenga demolitions that have taken place for the last 2 months. Kalonzo castigated the government, which swore to protect Kenyan citizens, demanding an apology from the government.
Yaani yule ambaye amebomolea watu manyumba amefanya hiyo kinyume na katiba ya nchi ya Kenya. Na ninyi waheshimiwa wabunge, mumeapa kutumikia, kulinda na kuhifadhi katibu ya Jamhuri ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta amekula kiapo ya kulinda na kuhifadhi katiba ya Jamhuri ya Kenya.
The One Kenya Alliance principal blamed grabbers for the woes that the residents are facing, saying that they took advantage of the road construction to bribe their way to demolition of other structures with the intent of grabbing the disputed land.
Waliokuja kujenga barabara wakaongwa pesa, wakaambiwa sasa tumia wakati huu kubomolea wananchi. Hiyo ni aibu, si aibu? Washindwe kama shetani wasishindwe.
The Wiper leader further says the government should apologize to the residents of Mukuru kwa Njenga over the shooting and killing of one person that took place on Christmas Day last year. Kalonzo adds that all families that have been affected should be compensated forthwith.
Kwanza, watu wa Mukuru kwa Njenga wana haki ya kudai apology kutoka kwa serikali. Kwa sababu ile bunduki ilitumiwa kuumiza na kuua watu wetu hapa ni bunduki ya serikali.
Kalonzo, who was accompanied by 4 Wiper legislators, announced that they will donate 2 tons of maize flour to the families affected by the demolition. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Kwa serikali.
Time now for our first break, but as promised earlier, I'll be having a chat with the immediate former Rift Valley Regional Coordinator, George Natembeya, who will be joining us by way of Skype virtually. I see he's there. Bwana RC, if you can hear me. Hello, and how are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. Sound.
Well, fantastic. I'll be talking to you in a minute or so. Let's have a very, very short break. We'll be back with the immediate former Rift Valley Regional Coordinator. Keep it here.
You are watching
Hello and welcome to TV47 Wildlife. I am your host, Sandra Wahito. And this show lets you see the beautiful wildlife varieties and nature we have in our magical country right from your couch.
Attention please. Please do not smoke in the terminal building. Smoking is only permitted in the specified smoking areas. Thank you.
As entities re-strategize, as you set your resolutions, as you plan for a great year ahead, we at Morning Cafe stay true to the call. We make sure that we get you ahead so you can always stay ahead.
Looking for ways to make cash this January? Well, look no further. The Grind is here to ensure you have all the information you need. We bring you exciting successful stories of various entrepreneurs.
A typical Kenyan want results, their mind are result based. They want affordability.
And as I just mentioned, we'll be talking to the immediate former Rift Valley Regional Coordinator, George Natembeya. My producer, Tony Murigi, tells me that yes, he is joining us virtually, but not by way of Skype. Our crew is live at his residence as of this hour. We continue. Education CS Professor George Magoha has stated that the government will ensure there are enough materials and infrastructure to ensure smooth implementation of the competency-based curriculum before the end of President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. Elizabeth Atieno now tells us more.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has today confirmed that the first phase of the ongoing construction of new competency-based curriculum classrooms will be complete by March, and the second phase will commence in April and take 3 months.
By the time the exams start in March, we shall have completed the first phase. The same contractors will be carried over to the second phase so that we save time. That second phase should start toward the end of April when we have marked the exams, and so for another 3 months.
CS Magoha toured Nyamira Girls High School in Gem, Siaya County for the inspection tour of the ongoing construction of CBC classrooms after he officially launched the first classroom to be completed in the country at Simero Secondary School in Ugunja Sub-County.
The government is extremely serious about this classroom, so the global picture of having 5,400 of them ready by the end of March is going to be realized ahead of time.
Magoha further stated that many schools in the country had cleared the syllabus and that the ministry will be lenient on the national exams.
The good news is that almost all schools have completed the syllabuses, both in primary and secondary schools. The fact that the terms were very short have been factored into them and therefore should not be an issue.
The government has reiterated that there will be smooth transition of students to junior secondary school.
It is our duty as public servants for our children to ensure that there is a smooth transition and that transition does not affect the education of our children.
Magoha has instructed school principals to release unruly students to their parents and further expressed delight over the decrease in cases of arson in schools.
There are still a few tensions here and there, but I think the message is getting there. That if you are unruly, we shall let you go back to your parents to be unruly there. It's as simple as that. And we are asking that if students who don't want to be in school ask politely, the principals are directed to allow them to go, where they can come back when they are ready.
The CS had earlier presided over the groundbreaking for the construction of Game Education Office in Yala Town. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Moving on now, efforts to rebuild houses for families whose homes were torched by suspected armed bandits in Moran area of Laikipia County 5 months ago are in top gear. And as Mike Kaguongo now reports, Moran residents were set to reap big from a major facelift aimed at creating an environment conducive to do business, among other investments. Have a look.
The facelift mainly involves road rehabilitation, cabro paving, drainage, modern market, eco toilets improvement and upgrading of Moran Health Center. However, the first to receive the government-sponsored program are families from Kisintogo village, whose houses were set ablaze at the height of the conflict that left scores of people dead and others injured, and several families fleeing to other safer areas.
Tangu tulichomewa hapa manyumba hapa, tumekaa hapa town. Tumepitia shida mingi sana kwa sababu tumekomboa manyumba. Hiyo manyumba ni pesa tunaendelea kulipa.
Majority of the victims sought refuge at Moran Trading Center, where they rented houses, while others fled to Sipili and Rumuruti as a result of the deteriorating cases of insecurity that were also orchestrated by illegal grazers who drove herds of livestock to people's farms, causing huge and unprecedented losses.
Tarehe 3 mwezi wa 9 tulihamia town. Uko town hakuna kitu tunakula, tumeteseka. Mwenye nyumba anaweka kifuli, sasa tunashangaa tuende wapi.
The county government of Laikipia is working on the program that has also been extended to putting up a police command division headquarters in Moran Trading Center and staff houses at Survey Shopping Center using stabilized blocks. The beneficiaries have lauded the program, saying it will help them resettle and resume their normal lives.
Hata tukirudi hapa tuko na msituni. Hiyo msituni tunataka serikali iangalie kama ni kufiega, hata ukikaa ndio unaona uko na usalama, sababu huwezi kaa bila usalama hapo.
Wewe tunarejea maisha ya kawaida ukweli. Hata usalama siku hizi tuko si mbaya. Tuko sawa, hata siku hizi tuko sawa.
Speaking during the inspection tour of some of the projects the county government was undertaking, the governor Derito Mureithi and his deputy John Mwaneki promised local residents to expect more service and encourage those who are yet to return to their homes to come back.
Tunataka sana hawa wenyeji waweze kuendelea kwa kazi zao za ukulima hapa Kisindogo na eneo lote la Laikipia West Farmers.
The projects are part of the efforts the government was working on to rebuild and redeem residents' confidence with the government as it recovers from banditry and insecurity mayhem.
Na sisi kama serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta na ya Derito Mureithi ya county tutashirikiana bega kwa bega kuhakikisha kwamba maisha yao inaendelea vizuri.
Mambo ya usalama ni lazima tuyaangalie tuwezavyo, na tuombe serikali iendelee kutupatia askari wa kutosha na kuona kwamba tumelinda hawa watu ili warudi kwa maboma zao, kwa manyumba zao, na wakati huu ambao ni mzimu wa kutayarisha mashamba watu walime, wapewe angalau mbegu.
The area has experienced relative peace following security operation that is going on at the neighboring Laikipia Nature Conservancy, where bandits are said to operate from. Mike Kaguongo, TV47.
From Laikipia County, we head to Trans Nzoia, where Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya has launched a warehouse receipt system. Munya says that the system is meant to drastically reduce post-harvest losses and improve profit margins for farmers. Boniface Barasa has more.
Speaking at Kitale NCPB Depot, Agriculture CS Peter Munya urged farmers to embrace the system, saying it guarantees them good market prices for their produce, as it also solves the post-harvest losses.
The house receipt system is aimed at facilitating trade in a manner that will eliminate the need for physical movement of goods being traded and transfer the responsibility of post-harvest management from our farmers to professional warehouse operators. This removes the logistics burden, facilitates trade as well as access to agricultural credit against the deposit certificate.
You deliver today, the following day you check your money in the bank. This is an assurance na farmers tungependa tuungane mkono. Na pia hakuna story, hakuna brokers wale walikuwa nakaa nje ya serious board kusema kwamba mimi ndio nitakupeleka, kazi yao imekwisha.
Munya's sentiments were echoed by Trans Nzoia County Governor Patrick Haemba and Kwanza Member of Parliament Ferdinand Wanyonyi.
I'm happy today you are removing one of the key hurdles of marketing. Tumekuwa na shida sana wakulima kuuza mazao yao. Na wale cartels, I'm happy you are cutting them out so that the jasho ile ya mkulima ilipwe kwa mkulima, isilipwe kwa bwenyenye mwingine.
The warehousing receipt, is where we can get some money. You go there, you put whatever product, hata kama ni beans, whatever, you are given what they call a receipt. It's a title deed. Then you can go to the bank. My worry, and Waziri, I think you should take note of this, is that we are asking the banks also not to take advantage and charge high interest rate.
Farmers from the country's food basket had huge expectations from Munya's visit, especially on how to reduce the cost of fertilizer and other farm inputs.
Tarajia Waziri Munya apunguze bei ya mbolea ikuwe shilingi 1,800 ama shilingi 2,000.
Katika shirika la Apollo Agriculture, matarajio yetu ni kuwa wakulima wetu ambao tunashirikiana nao watakuwa wanaweza kufaidika na mpango kama huu, mahali ambapo wanaweza kuhifadhi nafaka zao ili waweze kungojea bei pande.
Munya on the other hand assured farmers that the government will get a solution to the skyrocketing prices of fertilizer.
Serikali inashughulika kuona ni mikakati gani tutaweka na njia gani tutafanya tuweze kutatua hiyo shinda, ndio fertilizer na input siwe kwa gharama ya chini. Hiyo ni jambo already cabinet inashughulikia.
Adoption of warehouse receipt system is deemed to give maize farmers a lasting solution to challenges affecting maize farmers. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Well, time now for another very short break. We'll be back. Don't go away.
You are watching TV47.
Hello and welcome to TV47 Wildlife. I am your host, Sandra Wahito. And this show lets you see the beautiful wildlife varieties and nature we have in our magical country right from your couch.
Your attention, please. Please do not smoke in the terminal building. Smoking is only permitted in the specified smoking area.
it is re-strategize as you set your resolutions, as you plan for a great year ahead. We at Morning Cafe stay true to the call. We make sure that we get you ahead so you can always stay ahead.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. As promised, I am now joined by the immediate former Rift Valley Regional Coordinator, that is George Natembeya, who's joining us live. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so first things first, I'm sure many Kenyans are watching right now, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to set the record straight. As you are aware, there have been administrative changes, reshuffles have been made here and there as far as administrative changes are concerned. I just want you to set the record straight. Have you resigned? Have you been deployed to Nairobi, or are you serving notice? What is the true picture?
I've resigned from government. But of course, the procedure that are followed when one exits government, there are clearances to be done, and that's what we are doing now.
Okay.
And of course, I had so many leave days. So many of these things will be covered within the leave days, and that's why you can see that it's been deployed to OP headquarters. But basically, I've resigned.
Okay. Well, you've been a member of the discipline forces for well over 20 years now, that is 2 decades, 25 years to be exact. Are you convinced that your record as the Rift Valley Commissioner, Rift Valley Regional Coordinator rather, gives you, it makes you a better leader? Do you think you're going to be a better leader because of that experience that you've gained so far?
Not just as having served as the regional commissioner for Rift Valley, but my entire 25 years as a provincial administrator in the field. I think the experience you have acquired over the years puts me in a better state to run the affairs of Trans Nzoia County. I believe I've got the necessary skills and experience to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a question tied to that. So are you planning to have another member of the discipline forces to back you up as the deputy governor?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We're going to look at other qualities of a deputy. As you know, deputy is a principal assistant to the governor. So that those attributes that we go for.
Okay, well, Bwana Natembeya, other leaders wish to differ with you that, you've been a great leader. Tiati MP William Kamket has even gone on record saying that he's going to ensure that you're not going to be elected. He's going to vote against, to rather campaign against your gubernatorial bid. What do you have to say about that?
That's a leader with the bloated ego, who has told him that the people of Trans Nzoia are waiting for him to select for them is supposed to be their leader. Of course, the guy has had serious run-ins with myself as the regional commissioner because of the state of his security in his constituency. I think he has got too much on his plate to start focusing on the affairs of Trans Nzoia. That was just misplaced anger, which doesn't do anybody any good. In fact, if he wants me to get most votes, let him dare come to Trans Nzoia and talk against me.
Bwana Natembeya, we know politically Trans Nzoia is the stronghold of Ford Kenya. You want to vie using the newest kid on the block, if I can call the Democratic Action Party of Kenya that. How are you planning to navigate through such murky waters?
That's not correct, because even in the county assembly of Trans Nzoia now, Ford Kenya is a minority party with just about 6 members of the county assembly out of 25. But what we are telling our people now is to focus on individuals, not parties, because individuals are the ones who are going to be held accountable for the promises that they make, not political parties. So I'll go out there and sell my agenda to the people of Trans Nzoia. A political party is just a vehicle. It really is not. We don't believe is very, 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 very important. But what I'm going to bring to the table for the people of Trans Nzoia, and I've got a very, very concrete agenda for the people of Trans Nzoia.
Well, speaking of agendas, I'm sure you have a detailed manifesto. Kindly take us through very briefly. I know time will come when you're going to launch your manifesto. Kindly take us through the main pointers of what you think Trans Nzoia people need right now.
There are those things that were identified by our founding fathers after independence as key enemies of Kenya. That was poverty, illiteracy, and disease. These three still continue to bedevil the people of Trans Nzoia. So the problem of poverty is really entrenched in Trans Nzoia. But given that Trans Nzoia is taken to be the breadbasket of Kenya, sometimes this problem is not given the attention that it deserves. So going to the ground, you find that our people are really in serious state of poverty. And devolution came about purposely to deal with the problem of the challenge of poverty. So I'm going to ensure that the true objective of devolution in terms of fighting poverty are achieved by ensuring that the money that we receive in the county government of Trans Nzoia within the county, and it doesn't find its way to other counties, maybe through the offer of jobs and tenders to people who reside outside the county. We also have a problem with the education sector. Many of our children who do class 8 are not able to transit into Form 1 because their parents don't have fees. We are going to put aside sufficient funds to ensure that every child of Trans Nzoia who excels in Standard 8 are able to join Form 1. We also want to add value to our maize because maize production has been the source of poverty in Trans Nzoia because we sell it as a raw material. But if we were to sell it as maize flour, as animal feed, as oil, through value addition, then the farmers will be able to even recoup what they invest in farming, and the factor that will establish will be able to provide employment to our people. When you go to Trans Nzoia today, you'll find many of our young men are actually engaged in border business. We want to empower them by providing with sufficient capital, so that instead of them being hired to ride other people's motorbikes, they should be able to acquire their own. Of course, we've got very many people who are offering loans at exorbitant rates of interest, and that has not really helped in empowering our youth. We want the county government to come in and set aside sufficient funds to ensure that our youth access funds at very favorable rates of interest. And then, of course, we've got the problem of ill health. Trans Nzoia doesn't have a county referral hospital. We have one that has taken about 9 years to construct. It's not complete. We want to go in there, complete it, ensure that it's properly kitted, properly equipped. We want to employ enough medical officers, have specialists there, properly remunerated to ensure that our people get proper health care. And then, of course, we have got the problem of poor infrastructure. We don't have access roads. Even farmers reaching the markets is very, very, very difficult. So we are going to make it a key agenda for us to ensure that we have sufficient access roads to ensure that our farm products reach the market. The sub-counties in Trans Nzoia where they don't have tarmac road. Some of these facilities are supposed to be done by national government agencies, including KENHA, CARE, and so forth. Using, of course, my networks, I'm going to ensure that we have these infrastructure projects, because they're quite expensive, done throughout the county. So I've got a loaded agenda, and I have the necessary will, and I'm going to develop a very good team. I'll put in place a good team that will ensure that within 2 or 3 years, we'll have turned around Trans Nzoia from where it is currently to the place where it deserves to be.
Well, and I'll take you back to my first question about setting the record straight on whether or not you had resigned. We have a viewer here who's quite concerned, and he's asking, why didn't you just, serve notice at the current office that you are in, being moved to the office of the president back in Nairobi. What does that really mean? I know you say there are procedures that are have to be followed when one resigns from service, but what does that really mean?
Exit from government sort of like instant coffee. You just say I've quit and then you quit. Like now from today, I'm handing over to my successor. Okay. And it's going to take almost a whole week because there are so many things that we are doing. So that just walks in and then you walk out and that is it. It's a process. And if you recall well, in my presser yesterday, I said I was proceeding on leave pending retirement. Okay. So basically, I'll never be a regional commissioner again. That one I've quit, and I've quit purposely to go into elective politics. So the idea of being moved to Harambee House is just a process. It's part of what we are doing. I'm clear. You can't be clearing when you're already out. That's why I said I'm proceeding on leave. So within this period of time, I'll be clearing with the office and of course preparing for my pension and stuff like that. So, but the most important thing is that Natembeya has quit. Basically, it's not an RC, has quit government, is going into politics. It really doesn't mean that when you go to OP, therefore you can play politics while you're from OP. No. You play politics while you're out of government. And I'm basically in the process of finishing the quitting process.
Okay, thank you.
So there should be no doubt whatsoever. I've quit government. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for setting that straight. Now, my next question is based on a video clip, and pardon us for its quality, but I believe that the import of the message has not been altered. Kindly have a look at it.
Bungoma, Wanandi wakaenda Wazirigishu, Wamarakwet wanaenda Marakwet. Hii tunazoea ni kama Amerika. Sisi wote tulikuja wapi? Hapa. Na wewe huko na bukora mno. Wewe anakwambia bukora mambo yanaitiri na watu. Mimi siwezi kataa mahali nililelewa na mama yangu. Nacho ile naitiri. Hapo ndio nilikulia. Mheshimiwa Chris kacho ile Rutonyi. Eti nini? Lazima tukubaliane. Sasa mimi niko na kitambulisho yangu. Nataka kutoa my ID mheshimiwa kikirisha kuja kwa ID kwenda President Bank maandiko nini.
Well, Natembeya, I'm sure you remember that event, and regarding that, you are aware of the Madoa talk that recently got Meru Senator Mithika Linturi in trouble, and in fact he was on the wrong side of the law and arraigned in court. In that clip of you, sir, you seemingly suggested that you are more Trans Nzoia, quote unquote, than MP Chris Wamalo. Don't you think that could be interpreted to mean that you are alluding to that talk of Madoa?
The converse is actually true. My opponent has been saying that I don't come from Trans Nzoia, that I come from Bungoma. I was only trying to explain that all members of the Bukusu sub-tribe come from Bungoma. That's our ancestral home, and we can't run away from it. Trans Nzoia is a settlement area. It was a settler county where we had so many white people who owned property there, who owned land there. And when they left, members of communities, different communities, came into Trans Nzoia to buy that land. Some of them were allocated by the government. So I was trying to explain that Trans Nzoia is like America. It's a land of immigrants. We all came from somewhere into Trans Nzoia. And that we can be able to tap our different talents to develop Trans Nzoia instead of using those differences to cause disharmony within the county. And I think that was even a non-issue. People who are really focusing on that issue, it's like they've got no agenda. Because there's no constitutional requirement in Kenya that says you must be born or brought up in a particular area for you to run for the gubernatorial seat in that particular area. So that, for me, that was a closed chapter and we'll not revisit it again.
Okay.
Those who want to talk about it, they'll talk about it. But for me, it's done.
Okay. So thank you. As we wrap up, any regrets as you leave the disciplined forces?
I have no risks whatsoever because my maxim in government has been I give it my best. Luckily, my best has been good enough. And I want to bring this motto, this maxim back to the county government of Trans Nzoia, to go and give it my best. At the end of the day, I've got no regrets whatsoever for everything and anything that I did for the last 26 years that I was in the national government. And luckily, everywhere I've worked, right from when I was a DO to a regional commissioner, has only received accolades, other than from a few individuals who basically were driven by malice. Maybe those maybe wanted to be given space to break the law, or of course they can say Anatemba used some tough approaches to issues. But personally, I did what needed to be done in the best manner that the government prescribes. So I'm good, no regrets.
And I have to ask you this before I let you go, Moran Tembea. Sorry for that. The interior, PS, that is Engineer Dr. Karanja Kibicho, was your immediate supervisor. Do you have his blessings?
They have his. Come again, please.
Well, I'm talking about your former immediate supervisor in government, that is the Interior PS, Bwana Karanja Kibicho, and I just wanted to know if you have his blessings to leave service and venture into the murky waters of politics.
I have the blessings of my principal secretary, who is my immediate supervisor. I have the blessings of the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Freddy Matiang'i. I have the express blessings of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. I can't just exit government when I'm the president representative. I have to talk to him and tell him what my plans are. And he concurs with my step. Don't just walk away like an estranged wife, no.
Okay, so thank you very much for that, Moran Tembea, and all the best in your new endeavors. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity to talk to Kenyans.
Thank you. And of course, thank you a very big thank you to our crew there, led by our very own Chichi Josephine, who is currently at the former RC's residence. Move on now to business. Equity Bank Group earlier today announced a reduction in the duration it takes to settle PayPal withdrawals from 3 business days to 24 hours or 1 business day, a development that will increase efficiency for the increasing number of citizens receiving payments through the international payment solutions provider. The bank, which currently offers the only bank withdrawal service in the country, enables PayPal account holders to withdraw funds paid from their registered PayPal accounts straight to their Equity Bank accounts in either Kenyan shillings or United States dollars, excluding credit card accounts. Speaking during the launch, Equity Bank of Kenya Managing Director Gerald Warui said that the reduction in the